This week in the Complaint Corner, Star Wars, Joker, and some other shit. This is Critically Complained. Hi, I'm Adam, and this is Steve, and first we're talking Star Wars. Again. Because that's the exact same thing we talked about last week.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, Adam.
Man, it's endless Star Wars news. Yay. So Star Wars Episode 9, which was supposed to be directed by Colin Trevorrow, who is best known for directing Jurassic World, is no longer going to be directed by that person, and the current frontrunners are Rian Johnson, who is directing Episode 8, and J.J. Abrams, who is obviously directed Episode 7. But nothing is set in stone yet. We don't have an official replacement. Now, it's really easy to kind of see this as a bad thing because it's like, oh, they're dropping directors. Like, how could they do? But look, I liked Jurassic World. I did. I thought it was a fine action flick. I thought it.
Yeah, I especially like the part where the T-Rex and the Raptor joined forces to fight evil.
Hey, it was awesome. Okay,
It was
like,
stupid,
yeah,
Adam.
it was stupid and it was cheesy, but that's what I wanted. I didn't want some some crazy complicated Oscar-worthy performance nonsense. I just wanted to see dinosaurs fight a really big mutant dinosaur, and that's exactly what that's what I got.
Well,
I
all right,
got
yeah, ask and you shall
exactly.
receive, I guess.
I was given exactly what I asked for going in, and I will always defend that movie because of that, okay?
Okay.
I'm not saying it's amazing. It's not, but it gave me what I wanted. So, good enough for me, okay?
Your dreams are
And,
small, Adam, but okay.
but so as I said, I liked Jurassic World, but I didn't like it enough for me to be like, oh yeah, that guy should direct, the next Star Wars movie. That seems like a really good idea. Yes, like I did not ever think that. I was just like, well, clearly the guys at Disney have a lot of faith in this dude. He must have had like a really good pitch or something. But
Or he's
now I
already on
think
the
it's
payroll. One of the two.
now I think it's safe to say that that is not true. And whatever his plan was, it was not something that Disney wanted. Disney, well, not really Disney. It's more Lucasfilm. Disney pretty much just lets them do their own thing. He doesn't really. The mouse is not like stepping on anybody's toes.
All right, picture
Like
this. AT-ATs and AT-STs join forces to fight the Death Star. What do you think? Should I see myself
oh my
out?
god.
Okay.
Yes, you should. Definitely should do that. But see, the reason that this comes across as more bad than good, even though I kind of see it as a good thing, is that just a few months ago, Disney, I shouldn't say Disney, Lucasfilm, fired Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who were directing the Han Solo film. And not only did they fire them, but they fired them a week before production was going to finish. They had already been filming the Han Solo movie for like 5 months, and then suddenly, right at the end, they just decided, you know what, this is not working out. Okay, like it doesn't. You can't.
You know,
Lucasfilm, you can't.
this might just be me being paranoid, but mass firings in inconvenient spots in a bunch of different related properties sounds to me like the symptoms of a brain worm infection. So someone should check those Lucasfilm higher ups for brain worms because this doesn't make any sense otherwise.
I'm not thinking brainworms. I'm thinking it must be Borgullet, who is the creepy tentacle monster from Rogue One that was used to what's the word? Interrogate the pilot, whose name was, I actually can't remember.
Okay.
I should. I'm such a Star Wars nerd, but I can't remember.
See, you were using a Rogue One reference, and I feel like I should get it. But I'm going to be honest with you, Adam. I don't remember what you're talking about because I threw most of that movie away. Most of that information that had to do with that movie just immediately pitched. After Cyborg from Teen Titans showed up in the first couple of minutes, I checked out. So
Cyborg from T. Oh, I remember. You're talking. You're talking about Forrest Whitaker.
Okay. Yeah, whatever. After
Lies, lies, and deceptions.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
that guy. Yeah, after that fella showed up, and the Force Monk was there, and the guy with the jetpack gun was there, and dude,
Yeah,
I was gone, a million miles
I
away,
know,
in a
I know you
galaxy
did
far,
not
far
like.
away.
I know you didn't like Rogue One very
So I don't
much.
get that reference, but I didn't mean to ruin
I
your
thought
joke.
it was. I thought that Rogue One was fine. It was nothing
The
amazing,
Darth
but it
Vader
was
bits were cool,
fine.
as
Darth Vader bits were
as
cool.
little as they were.
Yes. They were worth the price of admission just to see Darth Vader murdering rebels to like left
That
and
was
right
pretty
for like
great. That's what
a
Episode
solid
4 should have had in the beginning if the
it's
technology
like
had
a
allowed it.
solid 2.5 minutes of glorious Vader murder.
It
It's
was
literally
it
like,
was
oh my
glorious.
god,
It was
it was
glorious.
so great. Oh, like can you really tell me that you wouldn't pay like $12 to see that on the big screen? Like, come on,
Well, in fact, I
that was
did
a.
do that. But if you wanted to give
I
me a
know.
movie that was just that, like I'd be down with that. Like you know how in the Star Wars Force Unleashed games, like the first level is
Yes.
Darth Vader like going around and schooling those guys on the planet before he takes the apprentice.
I love that mission
Yeah,
so much.
like if you just gave me a movie of that, like I'd be cool.
Dude, actually that would be awesome.
Where's that?
That's
Where's
actually
that
one of the
movie?
things. That's one of the things I really was disappointed by with Rogue One, just because. Do you remember me talking about how I had this vision for Rogue One being they get the Death Star plans, and then after that point it becomes a horror film with Darth Vader like hunting them down in some sort of Imperial base thing, and it's basically became it went from being a heist film to being the film Alien, but with Darth Vader. That's what I kind of wanted, and I obviously did not get
No,
that,
you
and
didn't get that.
I'm disappointed just because of that. But
Well,
still, I'm sorry.
I'm
We're
sorry
getting
you feel that way.
distracted.
If it makes you feel any
We're
better, I
getting
was
real.
disappointed for a host of other reasons.
I know. Anyway, we're getting distracted. So, Star Wars Episode 9 director is out, but
Brainworms.
also but yeah, I know. But also the directors for the Han Solo film are also gone. That happened like 2 or 3 months ago, and they were replaced by Ron Howard, who is a pretty well-known director. He directed A Beautiful Mind and those Da Vinci Code movies
Oh,
and some other
those.
stuff. Yeah. I mean, he's a competent director. He's directed plenty of of well liked films, which is nice and great, whatever.
Well,
But the fact
spare
that
no expense for Star Wars.
he's replacing two directors who are a week away from finishing production just really leaves a bad taste in my
Dude,
mouth.
I can't. I
Like,
cannot wait until
oh,
they announce we're starting over reshoots. Just do the whole movie again in my vision.
I mean,
Can't wait.
they're practically doing that already. Like they're doing like intense reshoots. And actually this is ties right into what the next bit of news is. So I'm just going to say it right now. They just announced that Paul Bettany, most well known for the Vision in the MCU and obviously other films too, but that's the one I know him the most as. Um, has now joined the Han Solo film. Like he's going to be in some role. I don't know. I don't know who he's
Some
playing.
role.
He's gonna be somebody. But the thing that's weird about this is, as I said, they're way into production. Like they started filming in January, and only now did after this new director came in did they bring in a new actor in the form of Paul Bettany, and that's just really really freaking weird. Like it makes me uncomfortable because it's just like, how fucked is this production? Like just we're talking about a film that no one wanted, that is going through development hell. And while we're on the subject of Star Wars and development hell, Rogue One, which we were just talking about, went through its own bit of development crisis because they had to go through extensive reshoots
And that
too.
movie was a
And there were
dumpster fire. So, signs of
okay,
things to come.
it was not a dumpster fire, Steve. It was competent.
Fine, can it be a
It was
trash can fire? Like in an office or something? Like someone threw their
I
cigarette out in
will
the bathroom?
allow trash can fire. I don't agree, but I will allow it.
Oh, thank you, Your Grace.
But really, like, it's weird that so Rogue One had to go through extensive reshoots. There were rumors that they were considering dropping the director, Garth Edwards, I think his name is. They were rumors that they were going to drop him, but they didn't. They ended up not doing that. And then there was the Han Solo film losing both of its directors and getting replaced with this new director and getting a brand new cast member super late into production. And now we've got Episode 9 now losing its director, and so now they have to find another
Oh,
replacement.
dude, it's
What
only
the
good things
fuck?
coming.
What the fuck
Only
is
good
going
things on the
on?
horizon.
And I'm a huge, huge Star Wars fan, okay? I couldn't even, if I tried to talk about every bit of Star Wars, like comic and book I've read, I'd be sitting here for 3 hours, and I'm not going to do that. But it's just, like, as a huge fan, I am so worried about where we're going with all this. What is their plan, and why is it that it seems like no directors agree with their plan? You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like, it's
it
like
could very. I
everybody.
know no one wants to admit it, but it could very well be that they don't have a plan. So when somebody new comes in and they have to reshoot shit, it's because there's like no foundation to go from, and they're just kind of like, well, okay, well, this is how I envision it. And they're like, that's fine, just do that.
I just
I don't want to
man, this whole
believe it,
thing.
but it could be. It could be.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think we can both agree that The Force Awakens was good. Can we agree?
Oh
The
yeah.
Force Awakens was
Oh
good?
yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So they have a little bit of goodwill with that. For me, all of like the expanded universe stuff, the comics and the books and whatever, those have been pretty good for the most part. There have been a few duds here and there. Like, let me think. There was the book where Luke was learning how to use the Force, and so he was moving noodles. That was yep. That's the first thing that Luke ever moved with the Force. It was a noodle.
Is that
That
right?
that's exciting. Yep.
Wow, can't
That's
believe we didn't
correct.
get that in the montage.
There was the time in one of the comics where there was a big egg that hatched into a giant humanoid space Jesus.
Oh right, sure.
You really had to be there for that
I
one.
bet I
Uh,
did. So
but I
anyway,
mean,
these
really,
guys in the
like,
white coats are gonna come and they're gonna give you a shot in the ass. It's gonna make you sleep.
oh my god. But I mean, like, there have been a few rocky steps in the expanded universe, but it's all been pretty good for the most part. Like, and so they have quite a bit of faith from me, but the movies are kind of all over the place, and all of this behind the scenes stuff is really worrying. And yeah, I will admit that while I liked Rogue One, I was a bit disappointed by it. I didn't think it was as good as it could have been. And you didn't like it at
I
all,
did
it
not.
seems. I don't understand why you hate this film so much. It was fine.
Adam, I have
It
lots of hatred inside me and I need to spread it around. I need to expel
God.
that bile from my body so it doesn't poison me, and Rogue One was a prime target to spill some hate into. Because it sucks, Adam. It sucks. It's not good. It's the opposite of a quality film.
Is not that bad.
It's bad. It's a bad movie, Adam. I'm
It's
sorry
not
that you
bad.
don't
It's
see
not a
that,
bad
but it's a
movie.
bad movie.
I don't agree. It's a good movie. It's just not a great movie. It's good
No, it's not
enough.
even. No, it's not even good enough, Adam. Stop trying to defend this movie.
I mean, I genuinely liked Rogue One.
Well, then get yourself
I
checked for an aneurysm or something, because you're
I
having a
I
problem.
think I think that you just like to hate
I,
things,
d-
and
I, I
and
will
all
own
you
that.
do.
I absolutely like to hate things, but I also like to hate
Why?
things when they deserve to be hated, and Rogue One
Oh my
deserves to be
god.
hated, Adam.
We're moving on.
Okay, fine,
We're moving on to other news.
fine.
To summarize my thoughts on this, I have faith in Star Wars, but I am worried because there's a lot of behind the scenes drama, and it's concerning. And I at this point, it's really hard to deny that there is some shit going on behind the scenes, and it's
Well,
not good.
okay, before we move on, can I say one more thing about Star Wars in general here? Like,
Yes,
okay, so these
yes,
movies here, you're worried about them struggling, right? You're worried about the problems that they're obviously having. I'd like you to
yes.
take some comfort in the fact that it doesn't matter. And I want to explain
You're
that to
right.
you because I feel like you're going to misinterpret what I'm saying. It doesn't matter because Star Wars is in perhaps the most unique of situations for any kind of movie franchise. It's always either in the middle or failing. Because people expect so much of Star Wars now that even when they do a good one, even when the seventh one came out and everyone was like, oh, thank God it doesn't suck, no one was like, okay, they built up the goodwill. It was like, okay, but is 8 going to suck? See, when Marvel does a shit movie, like, like the, I don't know, Iron Man 2 or, I don't know, I didn't think Civil War was that great either.
Uh,
That kind of shit.
I like Civil War.
Whatever,
I'm
okay, but
thinking
yeah, yeah,
like
but
Age of
but it's,
Ultron.
oh, that's what I meant, sorry, that's what I meant. In the lesser
Okay.
half, no one's ever like, okay, the franchise is ruined. They're always like, okay, but the next one will be good. Star Wars doesn't have that. Nobody gives Star Wars benefit of the doubt on anything. It's always just like, okay, that one was satisfactory. Where's the next one? Will that one be good? Because everyone, now that the prequels came out, and everyone hates the prequels, and justifiably so,
Yeah.
whatever. Now Star Wars is in the position, and it's fucked itself, where it's like all you can do is stall. No one's gonna be happy with
See,
anything you put out ever again.
you see it that way. I actually see it in a slightly different way, but related. The way I see it is Star Wars has fallen well below the mark before. A lot of people, including you, were disappointed by Rogue One. A lot of people were obviously disappointed by the prequels, but like that hasn't slowed the franchise down. Like they're
No, that's no.
still
I'm
going.
not. I'm not saying it's failing because of that. I'm just saying that people are still going to go see even the worst Star Wars movie because it has that kind of
Exactly. I guess
power.
see that's the kind of thing that I'm trying to say here. It's like it is like despite the fact that Star Wars can fail, it's okay
Yeah,
because it's
it can't
failed
actually
before and
fail,
it
but
doesn't
it can.
matter.
That's what I was ultimately trying to say. Was
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what kind of mess these are going to be because people will just say, okay, I'll just wait for the next one then because that one has to
that's true.
satisfy my
No, you're
needs.
right. Yeah, you're right. Like as soon as as soon like let's say Han Solo comes out and let's say that it's like the worst thing that's ever happened. Um, everyone's just gonna be like, oh well. Like everyone's just gonna be like, yeah, that's fine.
Well, that one's
When is
even better
episode
because
9?
no one actually if that one sucks, you don't have to consider it canon. You can just erase that from reality, and then it doesn't matter
I mean,
anymore.
you
Like
can.
Dragon Ball GT, people didn't like it, so it doesn't count anymore. We just don't think about it anymore.
I mean,
I mean,
it's
it's
really
actually not
easy.
canon, but that's not the point. Like, yeah, you just pretend it doesn't exist, and you see the canon as you wish to see it.
Yeah.
There is no Star Wars prequel movie. That didn't happen. It never happened. Han Solo movie, never heard of it. Doesn't exist. Episode 4, 5, and
Rogue
6, you
One?
bet it exists.
Rogue One? I don't even know what that means.
Chewie, freaking Wookiee Life Day, not a thing. Don't worry about it.
Dude, okay, no, the Christmas special is totally canon. I refuse to accept it as not being canon because it's just too spectacularly bad for it not to be
It
canon.
had it had an actual honest to god music video in it, Adam. Like just a band
Dude, it
playing.
it had like I think like a total of like I think it was over an hour of just sitting in a Wookiee house
Yes.
watching Wookiees
Yes.
talk with no subtitles
Yes, and
whatsoever.
then you play
It was
Jefferson
just
Starship, and then you get to see Luke in a
like the
garage or
reason
something,
the
and then you get to
reason
see
that
Uncle
that
Owen or somebody selling a remote to a stormtrooper or some shit, and then
yep.
there's robot porn for the oldest Wookiee, and then they go home. It's just, I don't know, man. It's Star Wars.
And then you
Rough
see Mark
patches.
and then there's Mark Hamill wearing eyeliner and there's and there's Carrie Fisher high as a kite singing a song
Yeah.
like like it's
Also, for everybody at home, that movie is the official first introduction to Boba Fett in the movies. That's where he
I
debuted.
know, you're
I
right.
want
That
everybody
is
to
the
take that home
official
with them tonight,
introduction.
because everybody who tries to tell me Boba Fett is cool needs to understand that he showed up in the goddamn Star Wars Christmas special.
See,
That's
you know,
important.
while we're on the subject, really quick, the thing that I love the most about the Star Wars Christmas special is that there is nothing below that. There is
Oh no,
literally
that's the
no
floor. That's
way.
the floor.
Like that's like the basement. Like there is no conceivable way there can ever be any Star Wars anything that is worse than the Star Wars
That
Christmas
being said,
special.
I would watch the Christmas special 100 times.
Oh my god, I've never actually seen the whole thing. I've
Because
seen
it
clips,
because it swings
but
all the way over to like the Room levels of bad, where it's like it's like a spectacle. It's like a train wreck. You can't take your eyes away. Like just in your heart that it's bad for you, but you just keep smoking down those Star Wars Christmas special cigarettes.
oh my god. Okay, we have got to move on. We're
Okay.
moving on. So, remember that Joker origin film that we talked about last week? Of course you remember. It is
Yeah, I
officially
sure do,
received
Adam.
that the decision to make that film in conjunction with a Joker and Harley Quinn film received our official, what do we
I
call
don't know,
it?
some
Our
stupid idiot moron award,
Dumbass
but
Ambassador
yeah,
Award,
we
or Dumbass
retroactively
Ambassador
renamed
Award.
it the Dumbass Ambassador Award. So that's officially the
Yep.
title of the medal it
That is
holds.
the official. Yeah, congratulations, WB. You are the official holders of the Dumbass Ambassador Award, and you will probably hold it for a long time. And if this news is anything to go by, you might receive it like a second time.
This
Who
might be a
knows?
weekly
Maybe.
thing, awarding WB the award for dumbassery for every decision. Please tell the folks at home what's going on, Adam.
So Leonardo DiCaprio is being eyed to star as the Joker in that same said Joker origin film. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't don't get me wrong. Oh my God, stop. Okay, don't get me wrong. I like Leonardo DiCaprio as an actor. He's a good actor. Of course he is.
Oh yes,
He's
totally.
officially an Oscar winner now.
Yeah.
Finally,
Oh, oof.
after
Big man on campus.
yeah, congratulations, buddy. But and like I'm not saying he's a bad actor. Of course he's a good actor, but he's a terrible choice for the Joker. Okay, one of the things about the Joker that in my mind makes him so special is that like every actor who's been the Joker kind of falls into the role. What I mean by that is like you don't see the actor anymore, you see the Joker. Even someone as shitty as Jared Leto, there is no I've seen a few Jared Leto movies, and there is no other performance that he's ever given that was the same as that performance.
Oh yeah, poor
And
Jared
that's
Leto in my eyes will forever be tied to that performance because I couldn't tell you a thing I've seen him in other than that.
I've
So
seen a few
I'm
things.
sure I have too, but
Um,
that's what I pictured him as now forever. I hope he's happy with that performance.
the thing that I don't like about Leonardo DiCaprio is I can't see any film that he's in ever and not just be like, oh hey, there's Leonardo DiCaprio. And
Sure,
I
yeah,
don't
I
want
feel that too.
I don't want that in a Joker movie.
I
I
have
don't
that same
want
thing
to
with
be
Alec Baldwin. Everything Alec
Yep,
Baldwin does
same,
is just Alec
same.
Baldwin.
Yeah, like George Clooney.
Oh yeah,
Like
that's a good one too.
you're not seeing George Clooney playing you're not seeing the character, you're seeing George Clooney playing a character.
Yeah.
And and the same is true with I don't know, like a bunch of other people, and especially with Leonardo DiCaprio, who again is a good actor, but I still always see him as Leonardo DiCaprio, and I don't want him in a Joker movie. And another thing is, are they trying to make this Joker film like some sort of like nuanced Oscar bait kind of a thing? Is that what they're going for here? Which is a stupid idea, a really really stupid idea. Okay, I'm just gonna say this. I don't think that comic book movies should try to become Oscar winners.
No.
I
No,
don't
no,
think
no,
that
no,
that
no,
should
no.
be a thing.
That's missing the point
Okay,
entirely.
yeah, like you're missing the point. I like you should have some fun and some joy, and you should cater to your audience. Okay, I don't want to see some like tragic tale about how Joker was never loved as a child, and so he I can't even freaking come up with it. Something related to Moonlight. I don't know, told in three different timelines, and Joker can be gay, and like I don't want some I don't want to see Joker like
A
staring
person.
outside
You
of a
don't want to see Joker as a person.
I don't want to see the Joker staring outside a window pane as it's raining.
Hello, darkness,
You know,
my old friend.
like I don't want that. Okay, I want to see Joker doing crazy shit and like terrorizing Gotham and fighting Batman and
Yeah, actually,
skidding
speaking
off.
of, even the unofficial Joker from Gotham is still a pretty good Joker because he's not a person; he's a nutcase. And
I
there's
just
no tragic story for him. It's not like, I mean, there was in his introduction episode, but they don't dwell on it. He's not that person anymore. He's Joker now. Like okay, who's that? God damn it, who's the guy from Bruce Almighty? What the hell's that guy's name? Please help.
oh God, why did you do this
I
to
don't.
me?
I can't. I suck at names, and I can't remember his damn name. But that guy.
Give me a second, Bruce. Oh, I'm googling it because
Oh my God.
I can't think of words. What is Jim Carrey?
Thank you,
Jim
Jesus Christ.
Carrey.
You remember when Jim Carrey was the Riddler?
Yeah.
That.
That yeah, actually, that's a good comparison. And like Jim Carrey as the Riddler wasn't a terrible idea in theory, but he gave such this over the top performance that all you're doing is being like, wow, there's Jim Carrey being a fucking jackass.
There's Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey is what I got out of that movie. I mean, he only
Yeah,
has one
basically.
switch. I mean, it's just Jim Carrey all the time, which is fine. But like, he's in the predicament where it's like I don't see him playing a character. I see him, Jim Carrey, putting on a colorful costume, standing next to Agent K with some Play-Doh on his face.
Thank you. To just be like, speaking of actors who I can only ever see as as the actor, Tommy Lee Jones is absolutely one of those. So I'm just like, oh hey, look at it's Tommy Lee Jones.
Wow.
It's that guy from Men in Black and the first Captain America movie,
He was
and
in that movie about where he was a cop protecting those Texas cheerleader girls that one time.
I
Whose
haven't
name
seen that
whose
movie.
name I forget, but they were like, college cheerleaders, and he was like witness protecting them.
I
It was
Okay,
kind of
we're
like the
getting
pacifier.
really
No, it was kind of like the pacifier, except they were cheerleaders instead of children.
okay. We're getting
Also,
really off
Vin
topic.
Diesel.
Yeah, that's another one. Unless he's voice acting, because he's actually a pretty decent voice.
Well, he's
He's
the Iron
Groot.
Giant
He's the Iron Giant.
and
Like
Groot.
he's actually pretty decent as far as voice acting goes. Like, but yeah, whenever you see Vin Diesel, it's just like, oh hey, it's Vin Diesel. God damn it, we're getting completely off topic here.
Sorry,
Okay, Leonardo DiCaprio as the Joker,
stupid.
theoretically, it's not, he hasn't officially been cast or anything, but he is being the Joker. He is theoretically gonna become the Joker in the Joker origin film
Okay,
that is a part
all
of
right. So
separate
can I
continuity.
can I once again interrupt you because I have things I need to say, and I'm sorry we're getting
Oh yeah,
distracted again, but this is on topic,
god
so it's
damn
fine.
it.
So okay,
Okay,
so all right, so hush over the crowd, bring down the mic. All right, so like I think this is important to say just for all movie people, so don't take it personally. Terrible Joker movie idea. Like if you have a character, like if you're not inventing a character, if you're trying to portray a character that like exists already, i.e. Joker for example, if you're trying to do that, don't get anybody famous. Just
yep.
find somebody who is the role you're trying to fill. Don't go like, okay, what A-lister can fill this role? It's like when video games get A-list actors, who to voice
Ah, I
act in it and
hate
shit.
that.
Like when
I
Peter
hate
Dinklage
that.
was the doodad from Destiny, which I hear was bad, but I've never played because it's stupid.
It's really bad.
Okay, like
Just
like
trust
that
me.
kind of shit. All they had to do was just find somebody who wasn't famous, but who could do a good job. Like I
I
don't.
can actually,
I mean,
while
granted,
we're
they
on the
did replace
subject,
him with Nolan North, who I love and adore, but that's not the point.
actually, while we're on the subject, I can think of a great example of taking like a iconic character, putting a no-name actor in it, and it being amazing, and that's the new It movie, which looks fantastic because you have this actor who I've never even fucking heard of playing this scary ass clown.
Pennywise.
And like I don't see, yeah, Pennywise. I don't see the actor putting on a Tim Curry impersonation. All I see is a terrifying fucking clown that's going to like make me shit myself, and I can't wait for that film. I'm so excited to see that. Like that's a great example actually. Or like let me think. What's another one? Or like Thor, like whatever his name is, Chris Hemsworth. His career took off after he got Thor. When you first saw him as Thor, you don't see Chris Hemsworth. You see fucking Thor. And now, any other time you see him in any film that isn't an MCU film, you're like, oh hey, it's Thor.
Yeah,
He is becomes synonymous with that character. You
and
can't do that with Leonardo DiCaprio because he's been in so many fucking things.
yeah,
Like, yeah, you need if you're gonna do an iconic character like this, I completely agree with you. You have to like get a relatively well unknown actor, a relatively like he could be in a few things certainly,
yeah,
but
because
like
yeah,
he
that's
should
that's
not
just it. The
be an
caveat
A-lister.
is you don't. I'm not saying like don't hire famous people. I'm just saying like if you have to portray something as a character that already exists in some other medium or some other form or something, don't try to fill that space with who you think people will pay to see. Fill that space with the person most qualified to do it. And no
I agree.
disrespect to Leonardo DiCaprio, because I agree with you. I think he's a phenomenal actor and he deserves all those awards he never got. But like,
He did get
I
one.
know,
He
I know. The
finally
joke
got
is
one.
over finally, but like
Yeah,
it's
God.
just like maybe he's not right for this one. Confirmed, he's not right for
I
this one. But I'm trying to be
Yeah, he's
diplomatic
not.
about
He's
it.
not. He's not right about this one. Not right for this one. We can all agree that this is not a good role for him, like at all. Like Please, God, please don't. Like, I don't want this. Oh my God. Ugh. Okay, so we're gonna move on to other news. This is a relatively small little bit. Spider-Man: Homecoming 2, which is not the official title, it's just what we're calling it, will have the same writers, which is great, and it will also very probably, it's not official, but it's like they're still working out the details. Will have the same director, John Watts, I believe his name is. Yes, that's correct. And
Like
I'm
the
totally cool
dude
with that.
from that made me think of Sherlock. Sorry.
Oh, no, not John Watson. No. Anyway, so Spider-Man: Homecoming 2 will have the same writers and very probably the same director.
I think that's a good thing.
That sounds fine. I really liked Spider-Man: Homecoming. We never really got a chance to talk about it, but
Not really. If I
we
could make a
both
request
liked it.
though, if I could make a
Yeah.
request of those people,
Oh,
first of
sure.
all, you're doing a good job, guys. Keep it up. I
Yeah.
do have
Thank
one
you.
request. If you could maybe like, I don't know, maybe this time make a Spider-Man movie and not a Peter Parker movie. I enjoyed the Peter Parker
Yeah.
movie, but I think now it's time to get a Spider-Man movie. I think that'd be really cool. I think we all appreciate that. So if you could find it in your hearts to deliver on that one, that'd be great. But otherwise, keep it up. You're doing a
I
great job. Love it.
I feel
Kisses.
like kind of the whole thing with Spider-Man: Homecoming was Peter. It was a Peter Parker movie, but at the end of the movie, he realized that he and Spider-Man were the same person. Like
Okay, no,
he
I
really
get it, but
stepped
like
into his
if you
role as
okay, I
Spider-Man.
get that, but if you saw the Avengers thing first and you saw him being Spider-Man, you would have justifiably gone into this movie thinking you were going to see Spider-Man, when in fact you were seeing a lot of Peter Parker and not
And a
so much
little bit of
Spider-Man, and a
Spider-Man,
little bit of Spider-Man,
a bit, like
a
a
bit of Spider-Man.
reasonable
Yeah, I
amount.
mean it was perfectly fine. It's just like I kind of felt I don't want to say cheated because that's a little too harsh, but I kind of felt like like it was Spider-Man was being withheld from me or rationed to me instead of just
That's
giving me
actually
Spider-Man.
it's actually funny when we're talking about Spider-Man: Homecoming because my biggest it's this is exactly what we're talking about. My biggest like love of the film, like the thing I liked the most, is also the thing I hated the most because it's like this small scale character focused drama coming of age tale basically is what it is.
Hmm.
And it's really well done and it's and it has all of the emotional moments you need and like I the performances were really good and the script was solid and that's great but at the same time, you go in expecting a Spider-Man movie, and you don't really get that
Not
per
really.
se.
Not really.
You get a coming of age, teenager movie with a character who also happens to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And you get some, a few cool action scenes here and there, but that's not really the focus. The focus is him as a character and in his balance of his superhero life and his school life and his relationship drama and all this other shit. And on the one hand, I'm like, yes, that's good. You should treat Spider-Man as a person, and all of these elements are an important part of his character. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, but I didn't really come to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
That's exactly how I feel.
really
Not
it's really
confrontational, just kind of
hard.
like thinking to yourself, this is not what the ticket said.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing where it's like I shouldn't complain about this, but I kind of want to complain about this.
Like you're smiling, but like inside you feel like this weird tingle of like I don't know if I should be happy enough or not.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
let's call Spider-Man: Homecoming what it actually is, Spider-Man point .5, because it's really
yeah,
just the movie that leads up to Spider-Man 1, because he's not
kind
Spider-Man
of.
yet.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how you can have a film that has Spider-Man becoming Spider-Man without ever actually showing his origin. Like you never see him get bit by the spider.
Which
You
I'm
never
fine.
Which I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's perfectly fine. I think it's weird when you think about it. Like like you basically have a Spider-Man film that the whole point of the movie is him becoming Spider-Man, becoming the character we know him to be. And you literally don't actually see that. Literally. Like you don't see him
Right.
get bit. You don't see him discovering his
Yes.
powers.
In
You
the
just
movie
see
about Peter Parker becoming Spider-Man, you don't actually see the moment he becomes Spider-Man.
yeah,
Yes.
it's weird.
I
Like
mean,
it's just a weird
I
thing.
agree that it's a weird thing to think about. Not upset about it in the slightest. I'm glad we
No,
didn't just
yeah,
see
I
Uncle Ben die a
absolutely
third
not.
time, but, you know.
I'm actually, it's kind of funny because I was thinking about it, and Does Uncle Ben even exist
I think
in
they
in
mentioned
the
him. I
MCU?
don't remember though, but I'm pretty sure you can't just write Uncle Ben
Because
out of the story. But I mean, you
well, I
know,
mean, I guess, but I mean, they don't. I don't remember them ever talking about it, and I don't remember. It doesn't seem like Aunt May is like I don't know, all bent out of shape over the love of her life dying or anything like that. That's another thing is are they going to talk about how like what happened to his parents or anything? I don't know. Like are they going to ever
yeah, I
mention
don't know.
that? I don't know.
Probably it's the first movie. Cut him some slack.
I know. I can be patient. It's
We
fine.
still have to have the
I don't
movie
know.
where he cracks open the calculator or whatever and goes to the train car and finds the lizard under there or whatever that
Oh God.
second movie was prattling on about with the
Oh,
mutagens or something.
oh,
I don't remember now
are you
anymore.
talking about the Amazing
Yes,
Spider-Man and how they were like setting up like the Sinister Six and all that shit?
yes, and how his parents were like CIA agents or something.
Yeah, his parents were CIA agents. Did you know that in deleted scene for Amazing Spider-Man 2, his dad was still alive and found him at the very end of the film, and he's like, son, I'm so proud of you.
Father.
Like,
No, I didn't see that. That sounds
yeah,
stupid
no,
though.
that's it's fucking weird. I, you know what's really weird about that? Okay, you know how like at the end of the first film and also at the end of the second film, there's like this mysterious person that you only see a silhouette of who's like trying to like build the Sinister Six. They like someone in an interview asked the writer for the film who that was. He didn't know. Like no, like
uh,
they set up all this shit,
but you
and
wrote
they
it.
had no idea. They had literally no idea
What
what
is it
they
like
were
the
doing with that
Fallout
movie.
mysterious stranger? Just a dude in a trench coat and a hat that shows up?
I guess it's really weird.
Oh, well, you see what
They
happened there was somebody walked on set and we didn't want to use this up another day for filming, so we just left them in, and then we just kind of did it again in the second one to keep it
it's like
consistent.
they were trying to set up these sequels in like the laziest way possible to such a point that they didn't even have a plan. They were just like, yeah, just throw in some mysterious dude to say something mysterious and then we'll figure it out later.
I like to think
Like
that
it's
he's
just
like the dude in the suit from Half Life, whose name I totally forgot, but who gives a shit. That guy from Half Life who just kind of shows up in random scenes to like watch Gordon as he's walking around. That's who that guy was.
yeah, no,
Just
it's
some
really weird.
entity from
Uh,
beyond time and space.
I am so glad that we got speak like I just minor quibbles with Spider-Man Homecoming aside, I'm so glad we got that over some shit Sinister Six setup
Yeah, me too. Me
nonsense.
too.
Oh my god, it's so much better than that. Like I would say that Spider-Man Homecoming is probably like my like second or third favorite Spider-Man movie. Even though it's not really a Spider-Man movie, but whatever.
I mean, yeah,
Like
whatever. I mean, can't
okay,
wait to
so
see how Peter Parker's girlfriend and him get on in the second movie. Can't wait for that romance to blossom, or
oh,
whatever.
you mean with Michelle or whatever her name
Yeah,
was,
exactly.
or how they called her MJ
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
end? You're
not
just
Mary,
like,
not quite Mary
oh,
Jane.
so that's where we're going with this. Cool, thanks.
Thank you. Oh, thank you for sneaking that in. Oh, I feel better now. Good. Order's restored to the universe.
Okay, so that's it for our news for this episode. So now we're going to do my humble opinion,
Hmm.
which we have not done yet. Basically, Steve and I talk about a thing that we recently watched, read, or whatever. We recently partook in, and we talk about it and give our humble opinions about it. So I
This
think
is
you
this
have
is really
one.
just our catharsis segment where we just talk
It's
about the
really
shit we
just
want to say.
we want to talk. We wanted to talk about this thing that we just read or whatever or watched, and we just want to talk about it. And like for no news about it. It's just like, hey, I watched this movie and I want to talk about it, and that's what we're gonna do.
So going
So you
ahead
can go
to
ahead
defy
first.
the formula right out of the gate. The thing I want to talk about is actually relatively modern. It's the Death Note Netflix movie, which I already made a post on it about on our Twitter. By the way, follow us on Twitter at
Yeah.
C Complained. Anywho, like, comment, subscribe, and all that. Shameless sellout. So, anywho,
Shut up.
the Netflix Death Note movie. Um, in my humble opinion, Adam, that
Yeah.
movie is a disgrace to cinematography everywhere. And the people who created it have obviously never seen the show, probably read a plot synopsis of it, and then just try to go from there, throwing American filmmaking shit in it, like forced romance and all that sort of bullshit, and they should be put
Oh
down
God,
like broken horse legs.
it's amazing. I watched it too, and it's amazing how fucking awful it is. Oh my
We were
God.
umming and erring about like actually reviewing this, like actual proper, we review kind of thing,
Yeah,
but
we thought about it.
we can just rip on it here.
Yeah,
So
it's not. It's the thing is, it's not worth a full review.
no, it's
It's
really not,
that
because it would
fucking
just
bad.
consist of us saying it sucks and then making fart noises into the microphone for 30 minutes to make up for the lack of, just that's what that owes us. Just a
Oh my
solid, wet,
God.
slippery fart.
So, what's your least favorite thing about it,
Oh,
Steve?
okay. Well, if I had to pick, and oh my God, there's so many things to choose from, but if I had to pick my least favorite part, it would have to be their interpretation, and I use that word very loosely, of the character Light Yagami, or
Thank
the
you. That's
guy that
exactly
they
what my
named
least favorite
as
thing
Light
is.
Yagami, who is in fact not Light Yagami, because
He's awful.
he's
The
just the
actor is
worst.
the
What
actor
were
is
they
awful.
thinking?
The script is awful. The Everything related to that character is awful. His reaction to Ryuk is laughable and not in a good way.
Have you ever seen
It's
Trolls 2? Have
so
you ever
bad.
seen Trolls 2?
No, but
They're
I've
eating
seen the
her,
clips of
and
it.
then they're gonna eat me. Oh my god!
See,
That's him. That's what he sounds like.
no, it's worse than that. He's over the top. He's not he's not like the trolls thing is about how like unemotional he is, but with him he's over the top like ah, 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 ah. It's so fucking
Okay,
awful. It's
but just
so
so all
bad.
right. I'm gonna before we get
Oh,
into the tearing this thing to pieces, because I want people to understand why it sucks. So if they're not familiar with the show, um, the show's also on Netflix. You can actually just watch the show. But so
please
the
watch
plot,
the show. It's great.
so
Ugh.
the plot of this show movie combination bullshit is that, or and manga if you like to read. So there's this kid named Light Yagami who's a total dick, but he is just a dick all the time, just being a dick, and he's too cool and aloof for things, and the world's just a shit place, and it's not his fault because he's better than everyone else. He finds a magical notebook that falls from space from an evil demon dimension, and if you write somebody's name in it, they die. That's called a death note. There you go. So the entire show is basically just him trying to become the new god of the new world he creates by being justice by killing who he thinks is a criminal, even if most of them they are. But basically, he's just judge, jury, and executioner for all of the world's evil people, quote unquote. And
Yep.
he also kills a bunch of police and stuff who are trying to find him. And there's another detective who's like super smart, and he has to he's like battle of wits with the guy while trying to be undercover, and the guy like figures it out, but he can't prove it, And it's just like it's a pretty good
Mhm.
give and take, and it's actually a fairly decent show. I mean, it kind of goes off the rails a little bit towards the end of the show. There's like a very natural stopping point, but they just choose not to stop for whatever reason. But that's not the point. Overall, quality program. I actually went back and watched it again after I saw this movie because it just made me want to watch the show again so I could see it done properly. The movie, on the other hand, is about a hopeless nerd who has nothing in the world to live for at all.
Yep.
This one chick that he's crushing on super hard doesn't care for him at all, which is, not her fault. She can do better.
What?
I know, right? Then he
I
finds
can't imagine why anyone would not want to date this shitty fucking I hate his hair. Sorry,
Okay,
continue.
yeah, that's probably one of the least offensive things, but yeah, it's pretty bad. So a Willem Dafoe demon comes down from Willem Dafoe heaven or whatever, Willem Dafoe hell or wherever the Shinigamis are from, and he gives him an ookie spooky notebook that lets him kill people. And his first reaction is basically just to kill the schoolyard bully, which that guy was being a total dick, but like he probably didn't deserve to die for it. And
Especially not get his fucking
yeah, that was
decapitated.
a pretty
Jesus
gruesome way to
Christ.
go. But like, all right. So anywho, so this kid sucks, and he gets the book, and he's like, I'm gonna I gotta kill the bad guys, and just because I wasn't loved enough or whatever, because girls don't like me. And then the one girl who finds out, or not, she doesn't find out because he fucking
Oh
tells
no,
her.
he
Again,
fucking
hey, I'm getting
tells
there. I'm
her.
getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay, 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 fine, fine. I'll just be quiet.
I'm getting there. All
All
right,
right.
so like he's this chick shows up because it was like, oh man, did you hear about how that guy died? And he's like, yeah, that's totally sucks, huh? Boy, it would be. I totally didn't do that. Oh, okay. No, I totally did it. I did. Did you want to see how I did it? Let's go see how I did it. And she's like, okay. And then he like pulls out his notebook of death, right? And he's like, "Oh my god, look, it's Willem Dafoe right behind you." And then he's like, "Oh, she can't see me." And he's like, "Oh shit, okay, let's Google a bad guy." And then he like writes the name down right in front of this person that he does, just trying to impress a girl by his murdering capabilities, which is the dumbest fucking thing. Because first of all, in the anime version of this show, there is a girl, but our super smart criminal mastermind, who's a total dick in the show too, is just using her. You know, he has no
Yep.
attachment to her. He's perfectly content letting her die at any moment as long as he can get what he needs out of her. But that's not the point. In the movie, he's got a stupid teenage heart-on for her, and he tries to
Yep.
impress her with his ability to kill. And eventually she comes around to his way of thinking about, oh, we can totally take on the world together and be the new gods of the new world and do justice and all that bullshit. And then she becomes like really obsessed with this thing, and she basically becomes a bit more determined to kill people than he is, and he's trying to keep rules, and she's like, we have to kill them so they don't find us or whatever, and some, I don't know, bullshit, and then they fuck a couple times over the rotting corpses of their victims or whatever, because getting killed people makes me so fucking hard. And then like and then they both die, and that's the end of the movie, and it sucks.
Okay, that's not what happened. Okay, well,
Well,
it
that is what
except for the
happened.
very-
I'm giving the hyper abridged version because there's like the detective
he
guy
didn't
in there.
die.
Yes, he did. L wrote his name in the book at the end of the movie.
Well, did he though? I thought it was I thought it was ambiguous.
Okay,
was
fine,
like
it was
he-
ambiguous. I choose to believe that he wrote it because I really want that character to die at the end of the movie.
Okay,
Because
fair
I
enough.
need that. That's the closure I
But
need.
that's another thing is like if blah, 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 if that's how it ends, if L chose to write the Light's name in the notebook at the very end, that ruins L's character even more than he was already ruined.
Yes, it does.
Because
And do you know
the
why,
whole-
Adam? Because that movie
Why?
sucks dick. There's no don't be upset by the fact that a character sucks or a character's ruined, because they all suck and they're all ruined. Everybody in that movie sucks, Adam. You don't have to be upset about one specific character doing one thing wrong, because they do everything wrong all the time.
I literally I was watching this film and I audibly said, "Oh my god, no they didn't." at the point where the first conversation that Light ever had with the girl whose name I don't remember or care
Who
about.
cares? Mia or something, I think.
Literally the first conversation they had was, "Hey, what are you reading? A death note? What is that?" And he's just like, "I can't tell you that." And she's like, "Okay." And he's just like, "Do you want me to tell you? I'll tell you right now." And then
Like, that
you
sounds like an exaggeration, but that's almost word for word what he said.
like I'm pretty sure that's almost exactly it. It's so fucking bad. And honestly, I feel like I wouldn't hate this film so much if they had just like called it like a death, like inspired by Death Note. Like take the core idea of the Death Note itself and put it into like different characters' hands. I could maybe be okay with that if that was the case, if that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
Is that it's like okay, we're gonna take the idea of a Death Note and give it to brand new characters who like have nothing to do with the manga or the anime. It's just like these are new characters. They're gonna do whatever the hell they want with it, and it's going to be inspired by the anime.
Actually,
sort
yeah,
of.
this is a prime example of taking an existing character and doing a shit job of them. To be fair, they used no names to play the characters. They just did it poorly. So perhaps it's not as good of an example as I thought it was. But
Oh my god. So everything related to Light is terrible.
the worst. He's the
his
worst.
his characterization is terrible. His acting is terrible. His hairstyle is terrible. His fucking clothes are terrible. Every thing
toxic
is terrible.
word that oozes from his mouth is just
and
the death of children.
fucking Mia or whatever the fuck her name was is completely different. It's like they took the personality of Light and Misa and they switched it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What happened was
Misa
somebody read a plot
in the-
summary and they just got confused.
It's like they literally switched around. In the anime, Misa is like this like lovey-dovey like obsessed girl who all she wants to do is fuck Light. And
Basically, yeah.
That's,
She's
that's
a-
how Light is in the show, in the movie. And in the show, Light is like this sociopath who's obsessed with being a god of death, and that's what Misa is like in the movie. Like, how do you get that backwards? I just don't.
I'll,
What?
I'll tell you how, because they didn't care about at all about the thing they were making. They just really wanted to cash in on the title. Which, shame on you, Netflix, because you guys are usually a bastion for quality programming, and you've made me question your abilities now because you've made this turd of a movie, and it upsets me because I didn't even like the show that much, but I have so much more appreciation for it now because of what it's compared to.
And
You
that's
did
another
that to
thing.
me, Netflix. You made me
The
raise my standards.
Another thing about the show is I'm also not a huge fan of the show, but I liked it well enough. And but like the main thing of the show, the most important element is the cat and mouse game between L and Light.
Yes,
That is
without a
the
doubt, the most
crux.
important part.
That is the most important element in the show. And it was basically a footnote in the
Yeah.
movie. It was like a minor thing. The main crux of the drama of the movie
Relationship drama
is the
between.
relationship
Yeah.
between Light and Mia. Like you're mixing it up. You're doing it completely wrong. Like I can't even. And I'll give you this. I'll give them this. The actor they got to play L was okay.
Okay.
He did an okay job. He was reasonably close to the character, and that's a really hard character to play. Like that's a really
Oh yeah, if
difficult,
somebody could
weird
nail it,
fucking
that'd be an
character.
awesome performance. I don't
Yeah,
begrudge the guy that way, I guess. I begrudge the people who wrote his lines and his character for him that he was forced to play. That's
yeah.
unfortunate for him.
That's like the only nice thing I can say is I think that the guy that got to play L did an okay job. And he didn't even look like L. And it's not just like I mean L is supposed to be this pasty white dude, and they got this black kid to play him. And at first I thought that was a little weird, but he actually did a pretty decent job, and I was like, okay, like you pretty much fucked up the character, but
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
the acting was on par. It was par. It was fine. It
Yes.
was like okay, sure,
It was
why
the
not?
line. You were meniscus acting. That's where you were. Everything else
But
was so. How did they get Willem Dafoe in there? How
I
much
don't
money did they have to
even
pay him to be in this?
I don't even know. I don't know what the
Also,
fuck they
Ryuk
did.
wasn't even really like he was in the
Yeah, they
anime
fucked up
too,
his character
because
too.
Ryuk, the actual like the god of death, the guy that gave him the book in the anime, most of the time he was just kind of along for the ride. He was just observing what was happening.
He did it
He just
in the anime. He did it because he was bored.
yeah, he
Like he's
gave a
just like,
human the book
yeah,
just to see what would happen for the lulz. But in this
yeah,
one, he
exactly.
gave it to him, and he's acting like it's his job to like pass it out, you know. And then he's
Yeah, it's
like
weird.
threatening Light because Light's a pussy in this one, and he's just like threatening, like, "Oh, you better not piss me off, or I'll kill you with the notebook or whatever." And it's like, "Oh, but you can't because no one's ever been able to do it before because you only make it to two
Oh,
letters." Which also just error in like storytelling ability right there. Ryuk says that no one's ever made it past two letters in his name writing it in the book, right? Like
yep.
10 minutes earlier in a prior scene, he flips Light slipping through the book, and it says, "Don't trust Ryuk. He's not your friend." It says it in the Death Note, and the word Ryuk
Yep.
is in. So he let that person
I
write.
think I could be wrong, but I think that they didn't spell it correctly in the Death Note. Like they were spelling it phonetically. They weren't spelling it the way it's actually
Okay,
written,
but
which means it
still,
didn't
like he
count.
let them get that far. He let them warn the next person of the book instead of just
Yeah, which is weird.
it
That's
doesn't
another
matter
thing.
because it's a piece of
And
garbage.
actually,
But
while we're on that weird scene, it's like don't trust Ryuk. What did Ryuk do that was
we
untrustworthy?
don't know. He
Like
never does it.
he didn't do anything. He was just kind of there, just like, hey, you should use the Death Note.
Oh, okay,
like, hey,
duh.
maybe you should kill people.
Yeah,
like
yeah, seriously,
that's the
like
only reason he
he
was there.
shows up specifically to like do it. Like in the anime, he didn't show up until like 3 days after Light was already writing names in, you know. So at that point, it
Hmm.
was kind of like, oh, I've just been observing you. But this is basically like this guy just finding people he thinks might want to murder kids and being like, hey, you want to maybe kill somebody? No, all right, I'll find somebody else then. Like he's actively searching for like
It's
a
really
host
weird.
of the Death
It's
Note.
it's it's fascinating just how wrong they got every
This
character.
would make an
Like
excellent character study in film school of what not to do when interpreting another medium into a movie.
Oh, and that's another thing. Is one of the things I really liked about the anime was the point pretty early on when Light is playing with the book and like seeing what he can get away
Oh yeah,
with,
he's like
seeing how the
learning
rules work.
how
He's
mechanically
learning
it
all of
works.
the he's learning all of the ins and outs, like the mechanics of the
Yeah,
book,
how he can
and it's a
control
really
people to up to however many days before they
yeah,
die,
for
and
2 days or whatever. Yeah, exactly. But in the movie, it's just a bunch of rules listed in the very beginning of the book that Light doesn't even read. He
yeah,
doesn't even
yeah. He
care.
he skimmed like four of them, and it was like, oh, number
Yeah,
47 or something. It's like, dude,
there's
there
like
were three rules in the
there's
first
like
book.
at least there's like 2 or 3 times where he's just like, there's so many rules, like, and it's like, motherfucker, you're a sociopath, or at least you're supposed to be. You're supposed to know all the rules. Why, if like logically, if you're trying to become a god of death, don't you think that you would try to read all the rules so you can know what you can
Oh,
get
dude,
away
dude,
with
yeah,
and
you
what you
gotta
can't get
have that
away
kind of
with?
information at hand at all times, like the
You
proper light
need to
does,
know,
so you know how to exploit it. Not just like, fuck,
like
I remember that rule. Page
like
37.
if I'm gonna like if I'm gonna, like, I don't know, play a board game, I'm gonna read the rules first. I'm not just gonna be like, oh, roll the dice, let's see what happens. like,
Exactly.
like 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 you need to know what you're doing. And like in the anime, they had that happen by him playing with it. I acknowledge that they might not have time to do that in the movie, but they could at least have him studying the all of the rules written in the beginning and like trying to, like, like, or like questioning Ryuk and be like, wait, what, this rule, what does this mean exactly? What are the limitations of this? Like what
Yeah.
does that
Okay.
mean?
You know,
Like,
like in the Spider-Man movie, just like bring it back to Spider-Man. You know how he was like kind of sitting in that warehouse thing and just dicking around with his webs.
that's
We could
exactly,
have
that
had
would be a
something like
great
that,
scene.
but with
Yeah,
killings.
that was actually one of my favorite scenes in
Yeah,
Spider-Man
me too.
Homecoming, when he's, because it shows his ingenuity and it shows his like creativity, and it's just like, okay, what does this do, and he's playing with all, and then later in Spider-Man Homecoming, like when he's on the ferry, he's doing different things. He's shooting like three different webs at once, and he's shooting that, like, the web bomb and
Yeah.
like all
Yep.
this
Yep.
other
Yep.
shit,
Yep. Yep.
like
Yep.
like it was this really cool scene where like they show him exploring the different web shooter like options, and then later they show him using different web shooter options, and it was really well
Yeah,
done.
because like, all right, so I don't want to like ruin it because I actually do kind of encourage people to go see the show. I guess now, just if no other reason than for comparison's sake. But like, original anime Light was like, okay, so he found out he could use pieces of the notebook instead of the whole page. So he's ripping off pieces and storing them places so he could use them like that. And he was delaying people's deaths so like he would be in public view when somebody died, so it'd be less suspicious. And he found ways that he could like kill people in specific ways to make it like not in his usual way so people wouldn't suspect him right away, just like all
Yep.
sorts of shit
Hmm.
like that really shows that, like, okay, he's practiced and learned it at this and he's thinking the shit through, and then we got
Yeah,
like Movie Light, who's
he's
basically just like
smart.
durr, writing names in a notebook, durr.
Yeah, he exactly. That's the
No,
thing, is in the anime, he's super smart and analytical about everything he does. He never does anything without a reason. He makes a few mistakes, but you can understand why he made those mistakes and what was going through his head as he was doing it. In the movie version, he's just doing whatever the fuck he wants, whenever the fuck he wants, and not thinking about the consequences, not thinking, maybe I shouldn't reveal that I'm a fucking murderer to some person I don't even know.
exactly, just because he
Like
wants to get his dick wet.
all this shit. Like, yeah, exactly. It is such a laughably awful adaptation. It is one of the worst adaptations I have ever seen. Like, hands down. Like, I would argue, in my opinion, I think this is worse than the last Airbender adaptation.
Whoa,
I
that
would
now
say that.
that is a
At least
harsh
at
claim.
least at least with the last Airbender, they got the basic plot
Good
correct.
point, dude. I actually totally forgot that existed, but you know what? Like, you're kind of right. Like, as
Yeah, I
terrible as
am.
the last Airbender movie was, it was basically a
Like,
fairly
it
condensed yet
wasn't
accurate version of book one.
like, they didn't, the only character they fucked up in the last Airbender, like, beyond all recognition, was Sokka. Like, every other character was at least somewhat close to their counterpart. They were like super boring and uninteresting, but at least
Yeah,
they weren't
but you could see
completely
them in there.
incorrect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like it wasn't completely wrong. Whereas with this one, like, almost every character is
Oh yeah.
completely
The
wrong.
equivalent would be if the last Airbender was about people in San Francisco running a pizzeria, but one of them could shoot air out of his hands.
Yeah,
That's
actually,
that's the
it's
comparison because this Death Note movie has almost nothing to do with the actual story, and the things that does have to do with it are either ass backwards or completely wrong.
Yep. So yeah, awful.
So just prom night dumpster baby, total failure. 0 out of 10. Would not watch again. Don't.
Oh,
Out
I
of
would
morbid
watch it again.
out of morbid
I would watch it
curiosity.
again. I would watch it just so I could watch his screaming scenes again.
Oh my
That was
god.
hilarious.
Okay, seriously, if you want to like go home, everybody at home, just go home. Like, get a group party together. Get like a viewing party going. Everybody gets like their death notes out, or whatever, and from the anime center or whatever. Watch the shit, and then at the end, watch the credits and just write everybody's name down. Just write everybody's name in your book.
Maybe one of you has the real one. Who knows? I don't know.
Shame on you, Netflix people. Shame on you for letting that happen.
Okay, so
and
now
it's really popular in Japan, apparently. They like it
the
over
movie?
there. That's what I've heard.
Great.
You know what? If you want to like something that I don't like, I can't tell you you're wrong, but you're provably wrong with math in science facilities proven by scientists.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right. So I'm gonna do my humble opinion now. So I recently I recently read/listened to, because it's an audiobook, Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad, which is a prequel to Battlefront 2, like the story campaign, and also
there was a story campaign in Battlefront?
No, not in the first one, but the new one, Battlefront 2, is going to have a story campaign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is a prequel to that, while also being a sequel to Rogue One.
Good.
I know. And it's okay. In my humble opinion, it's okay.
Great, moving on.
No. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. But it's a really weird book. So the plot of the book is the main character's name is Iden Versio. And she was at the Death Star. She was a TIE pilot, and then when the Death Star blew up, she was flying at the time outside of the Death Star.
Okay.
And so she dodged and weaved through all the debris and shit. She
got thrown into space like Vader was.
No. Yeah, actually, basically, yeah. She landed on Yavin. She stole a ship. She got back to
Which one's
Coruscant.
Yavin?
It's the moon that they were. It's the one that the Death Star was trying to blow up.
Oh,
the
right. Okay.
Yeah. She crash landed there. She stole a ship. She got all of this. It's really weird. So what we get to see her dodging through all the debris and then being like, I have to land. And then the next chapter, she's already landed. She's already stolen a ship, and she's already gotten back to the Empire.
Did you have your thumb over a page or something? Kind of seems like you skipped a bit.
It's really weird how they do that. It's like at any time that there's going to be an action scene in the novel, it's like they just kind of fast forward through it, like, really quickly.
Well, they probably don't want you questioning how it happened. They're just like, and trust me, it resolved.
It's
don't worry about how
weird.
it happened, just it did.
So, and then her father, who's an admiral and also a complete dickwad, decides that he's going to make a squadron of, like, I don't want to say a small. What they basically are is like a counterintelligence squad. It's these 4 people whose job is to, like, go undercover. It's like Mission Impossible, but in Star Wars.
Oh,
it's their job to, like, go undercover and, like, find information and then get the fuck out and, like, steal shit and whatever they need to do at the time. That's their job, is to do whatever is needed to be done covertly. Like, they're a covert squad of whatever. You okay? Yeah, you got it.
Sure, yeah, I'm with you.
All right. So they're tasked with infiltrating this. So I don't know if you remember this. You probably don't, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Saw Gerrera, that character who you said looked like Cyborg.
Yep. He didn't look like he was a cyborg.
He was a cyborg. Anyway, so he was the leader of a group of rebels called the Partisans.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
They were not a part of the Rebel Alliance. They were their own. Basically, what they were was terrorists. Okay, the Rebel Alliance is like this alliance of multiple worlds whose goal is to take down the Empire through, like, not any means that they can, but they're relatively peaceful. They want peace.
Except when they want to blow up a Death Star.
A
lot of folks died in that.
I know. But again, all the Death Star people, those were all like trained professionals. It's like they signed up to be there. The Death Star blew up Alderaan first. Alderaan
True.
was a peaceful planet
Well, how
full
do
of
you know that
civilians
Alderaan
and
wasn't
shit.
harboring weapons of mass destruction?
It wasn't.
Oh, well, as long as you're sure.
Anyway, we're getting distracted. So the Rebel Alliance are the quote unquote good guys. The partisans are not at all. They are like straight up terrorists. Like all that they care about is taking down the empire through any means necessary. If that means killing imperial children, that's fine. If that means like killing an entire like in order to kill like 3 Moffs, all you have to, if you have to take out an entire fucking like room full of civilians, that's fine. Like it doesn't matter to them. It's all about it's the ends justify the means. That's all that they give a shit about.
Mm.
And after Rogue One, which again you might not remember because you apparently forgot everything, most of the partisans were killed when they blew up a portion of Jeddah. Well, actually, they blew up Jeddah, which is I think a city on a planet, and I can't remember the planet's name. That's where Saw Gerrera was. So they blew up most of the partisans, but there are still a few like factions left over, and it's Inferno Squad's job to go out there and take down what's left of the partisans. And in order to do that, instead of just I don't know, killing them, which would be super easy because there's only like maybe a dozen members in this fucking left of these partisans. They decide to go under deep cover and basically like infiltrate the terrorist cell, which is
Cell.
already weird, but they kind of justify it by saying, "Oh, well, see, the partisans have inside information and we need to know where they're getting that information, so you need to go undercover." Okay, that seems a little bit weird. I feel like there would be an easier way to do this, but
I feel like if
fine,
all the
I'll allow it.
partisans are dead, doesn't matter if they're getting information or not.
Well, no, that's the thing is they're not all dead.
But
They're
if they
just
were all
mostly
dead,
dead.
if you just kill them all, then you're golden. Nobody's passing secrets anymore.
I think the idea is that it's like we need to find out
I,
where
I
this
understand they're looking
information.
for the leak, but, you know.
Well, yeah, they're looking for the leak because it's like you kill all the partisans, then theoretically the leak could just go somewhere else, like to the Rebel Alliance or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they want to go on, they want to go under deep cover to try to figure out where the leak is so that they can stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they're going under deep cover. There's 4 of them. 2 of them are posing as brothers, and in order to, this is important because it's one of my main complaints. Two of them are posing as brothers, and in order to infiltrate the cell, they're pretending to be already members of the partisans, just members of a different like subgroup that no one ever is in contact with, which makes zero
Seems
sense to
like
me.
anybody could disprove that pretty quick.
Exactly. So that's already an issue. In order to do that, they uh, hitch a ride on a ship that they somehow know is going to be hijacked by a pirate who they somehow know is a sympathizer to the
Well, hang
partisans.
on, that doesn't
And
sound that
there's
far-fetched
some.
at all, because everybody knows that pirates usually make posts online about the things they're about to kidnap or whatever.
I
That's so
just
fucking stupid. Sorry, go on.
I'm sorry. It's really really weird. So they hitch a ride as basically stowaways on a ship that they somehow know is going to be taken by this pirate who they somehow know is a sympathizer to the partisans, and they're going to conveniently convince that pirate to be like, "Oh no, we're also partisans. Please take us to the other partisans that and you've never heard of us, but please take us to the other partisans that we totally know."
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
BB-8, where's the
stupid.
base?
It's really dumb. But she
Wow.
does that, and which doesn't make any sense.
And
But she
everybody's
does it
just like,
anyway, and
"Duh,
I hate
okay."
it.
No one's even suspicious a little bit.
Yeah, basically. There's a little bit of suspicion at first, but they integrate themselves within like a month or two,
So they know the
and
secret handshake.
everyone trusts them and shit, and it makes no fucking sense.
Wow.
Another one of them is posing. This one makes some sense, kind of. This is probably the one I'm the most okay with. She poses as a slave to this guy who they again somehow know is going to be raided by the partisans. Again, like there's a lot of conveniences in this book.
Like, if they know where these guys are going to be, it doesn't seem like it would be difficult to catch them.
I
If these
know.
guys just
I
make
know.
Twitter posts like totally gonna go invade this camp right now, hashtag rebels for
Well,
life or
okay.
whatever.
I should mention that the partisans are so crazy terrorists that if they think they're going to get captured, they blow themselves up. They always
Oh,
carry bombs on them
okay.
that they can use. They can blow up at any
So there's
time.
some of them, alright.
Yeah. So I should mention that. So it makes some sense that like you can't capture them very
I think
easily.
you mean
Like
thermal detonators.
no, actually, they're not thermal detonators. They're like something similar to that, but not the exact same.
I
It
was
doesn't fucking matter.
using Star Wars trivia.
I know. So this person poses as a slave to a person that they somehow know is going to be raided by the partisans, and then when they are raided, she's like, "Oh, please take me with you. I have nowhere to go. I'm just a slave. Like, please, I need help." Which I can somewhat
I
accept
mean, that
because
one
the
I guess I could
partisans
see.
the partisans are looking for new members, so it's like, okay, I'll allow this one. And this last one is my least favorite because it makes abso-fucking-lutely zero
Even worse than
sense.
the two brothers that are just part of a group you
Oh,
guys have never heard of.
even worse.
Wow.
Even worse.
Did I just
So
put on
this
a
last
mustache and a t-shirt that says not Empire?
okay, so this person this is the main character, Iden Versio. She pretends to be to have had a change of heart. She pretends that she is now a rebel sympathizer
Oh,
and she
she's
wants to
double
take down the
agenting.
empire. Yes,
Okay.
basically. So she's posing as herself.
Okay.
Like she is herself. She pretends that she is
Oh, all right,
not
hang on.
like
Are these people that the story's about actually like famous enough where the rebel guys would know them by looking at them?
no.
Okay. So she didn't have to do that.
Not really.
Okay.
Oh no! Don't go worry. I'll get there. I'll
Okay.
get there.
Okay.
So she is relatively well known because she's the daughter of a relatively well known admiral.
Oh, okay.
So she is seen by like holovids and shit to have been saying, "Oh yeah, the empire is bad. We should take it down." Blah blah blah. So then they arrest her for treason because that's how the empire works.
Yep.
Fine. Um, they arrest her for treason and they put her under house arrest at her home. Normally they would execute
I
her,
was just gonna say.
but because her father is the admiral, they were like he pulled some strings. And remember, this is a mission that he gave her. Like this is all
Oh,
being
okay.
orchestrated behind the scenes. They put her under house arrest at her home, and she stays there for like a month or two before the partisans show up to take her away. Why did they show up to take her away? Because they apparently want a PR man. They want someone who can like pose in who can be in holovids and shit saying like, we're the partisans, we're fighting the empire, I used to be with the empire but then I'm not anymore. But here's the
that
thing.
sounds like that sounds like an infomercial or for like a weight loss drug or whatever, or like one of those drug rehab things.
Here's the thing. First of all, she's not well known enough for it to make any sense to capture her compared to like anybody else. Like there is zero reason. Second, there is no reason there is no reason for the partisans not to have a PR man that they don't already have. It'd be really easy for them to just make holovids and just be like, "I'm the leader of the partisans." Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there is no reason to
Fight the
bring
empire
in an
because they're
outside
evil. Blah 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 blah.
yeah. There is no reason to bring an outside person who who used to work for the empire to be their PR person. Thirdly, she has zero public speaking experience and she has to be trained in how to make speeches, which is stupid.
Okay,
Why would you capture her if she has zero experience with this?
So they got a former empire person to be their
Yes.
PR person. But
Yes.
that former person is not inherently famous, so their
Nope,
betrayal would
she's
not be a big
not
deal for anybody.
particularly.
They don't have
She's-
any PR skills naturally, so they don't even have the
Nope.
advantage of already being good at persuasion speeches.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
so basically they would have just taken anybody. Like if the janitor from
guess.
section B178 decided he was
See-
fed up with the Empire's bullshit, he would just get to be the leader of the rebellion.
this-
Is he the main?
Yes.
You know he's the main character because if this was fucking Skyrim, he would have been king of the rebellion already.
Okay, and here's the real kicker for me. These are the partisans. They're fucking terrorists. They kill children like whenever it is needed. Why the fuck do they give a shit about public relations? Like they don't care that there is
Yeah,
no
who's doing
reason to
damage management
believe.
for terrorists?
Yeah, like can you imagine, if you will, Al Qaeda capturing like a relatively well known former military person and having them be their new PR man, but still being terrorists and and doing terror acts and killing
Yeah, I
children
feel
and
like
doing
all
all
that would
kinds.
happen there is that people would just be pissed at that new person, not want to join them.
Exactly. It makes no sense. And this is like this is the main crux of the novel. The most of the plot revolves around them taking down the partisans. But the fact that it makes zero sense for the main character to even be there really takes my enjoyment down a notch. And the thing is, once she's there, if you are willing to buy into this completely ridiculous idea that the partisans would ever do this, it actually is pretty good. Like like you have these four people who are all under deep cover, who are like trying to work out where the leak is coming from, who has the information, where are they getting the information, how far are we willing to go to protect our cover, all this shit, and it's really cool. But it was such a weird like route to get there that it was really hard for me to enjoy it once I got there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It is relatively well written. Like the characters are interesting. There's some great emotional moments here and there. Like spoiler alert, not that you give a shit, but one of the team dies. One of the team so she gets put on a mission to kill children. She can't do it, and she's so emotionally distraught over this. So she's posing as this slave who can only speak like one language, and but she's not actually, but she can actually speak like 12 different languages. And there's this one point where these two people are speaking in this other language, and then she says something in that language because she's so emotionally fucked up from having to like almost murder children, and suddenly they're just like, wait a second, you speak whatever language this is, like, you've been lying to us this whole time. And then like they bring in Aiden, and they're just like, I didn't kill her. And Aiden's just like, I don't know, guys, maybe we should, hear her out and figure out what's going on. But then the girl impales herself on Aiden's like vibro sword in order to maintain everyone else's
sorry, what's a
cover,
vibro
because
sword?
it's okay. Did you remember in maybe you remember this? Do you remember in episode 3? Do you remember those General Grievous's guards that
Yeah,
had like
with the
these
shocky pokey
staves?
sticks.
Yeah, the shocky pokey sticks. Those are vibro staves. A vibro sword is basically the same thing, but it's a sword instead of a
Doesn't seem
staff.
like you could stab somebody with that. Seems kind of blunt.
Oh, no, it's a shocky thingy. It's a sword that's also shocky.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, cool. All right. Anyway, so this person stabs herself with Aiden's sword thing in order to preserve everyone else's cover, and it's this really great moment, and it's very emotional, and like it's really well done, and that's nice. But here's another thing that kind of ruins the book for me. At the very end, the way so they've been spending literally the entire novel trying to figure out where the leak is. The way that they finally figure it out is they search a person's room and they find a data pad. The data pad tells them where the information is. It doesn't have the information on the data pad, but it tells them who this one person who's named the mentor. You find out who he is. He's a character from the Clone Wars. It doesn't fucking matter. Uh, so they go into this guy's room. They find this data pad. It tells them who they is, and it tells them that the information is on his person. And then Aiden goes to meet him, shoots him, and kills him. Well, maybe kills him. It's left ambiguous. Takes the information that's on a data chip off of his person, and then off screen, or screen off page, whatever, um this the other members of the group kill everyone else.
Okay, so rebellion quashed
So
then.
they spent. Well, it's really weird. Okay, so they were undercover for like 3 months. They spent 3 months undercover only for them to just kill everyone and then take the information off of their dead bodies.
Yes, yes, that appears to be
Why
the
did they
case.
why did you not just do that in the beginning? Like, how hard would it have been to just be like, okay, let's stun or kill everybody and search the corpses? Like, I don't get it. I do not
I mean, the
understand.
only thing I could think of is they would just assume that the information would not have been written on somebody's iPad in their room, but they would have the information in their brain. And you can't just shoot
I
people for
guess.
brain information unless you're Kylo Ren. So, I mean,
Well,
that could have been the reason, I
here
guess.
I have another situation. One of the problems that you have with the partisans is that they kill themselves, right? Like you can't just
Well, that is
when
an
they're in the
issue.
middle of a when they're in the middle of a mission, and if one of them thinks they're going to get captured, they blows himself up. But they don't wear their bombs when they're at their base. Like they take them off when they're not
Well,
on a
that's
mission.
probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Yeah. So why didn't while everyone's not wearing their bombs, why don't you just get a blaster and stun all of them and take them in for questioning, and then figure out where the leak is?
That's a great idea.
Like
You should
it's
probably read the
really
next Rebellion raid.
like it's really fucking easy. Like and I hate it because the book is a fun, enjoyable read, but it's these kind of like weird logical decisions that just ruin it. Like I can't get over it. Like I'm just like, but this does like why would these people not be in any way logical? And it's one thing to just say, "Oh, well, it's a stupid plan, but they're stupid people." But it's another thing but it's another thing for just basic logical leaps to just make no like what like again, why the fuck are the partisans interested in a PR person? And if they are interested in a PR person, why in the fuck do they want her specifically when she has no experience and she's just a person and they spend the majority of the time not trusting her? If you don't trust her, then why did you bring her? Why did you capture her if you weren't gonna trust her for like 2/3 of the time?
Because fuck you, dude, that's why.
I just can't get over it. It's so weird and awkward, and uh,
I'm sorry that that
but
weighs so heavily on your heart, Adam.
ah, that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna move on to random encounters. I like random encounters. Random encounters are fun.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pick
Well, hang
something
on. We
related
should
to
probably,
Star.
this is the second episode. We should probably explain how this
Oh
works.
yeah, we gotta
All
explain
right.
how.
So,
Right.
if you missed the last episode, you're not familiar with the system. Adam, I'm trying to talk right now.
Sorry.
What happens is that we pick two random people and we put them into any sort of random event from our little grab bag here, and that's a random encounter.
Yay.
I pick a name from this baggie, and Adam will come up with one relating to our show, and then I will pick an encounter, and then we're off to the races. Sound like a plan? So why don't you start us off, Adam?
Yeah.
Who'd you pick?
I'm gonna pick someone Star Wars related. I want to say Han Solo. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Did I pick Han Solo before?
It
No.
feels like you did, like last episode.
Did I?
I don't know for sure though.
I'm gonna pick someone else. I'm gonna pick let's see, episode 9. I'm gonna go with Leia Organa, because she was supposed to have a big role in episode 9, but then she died. So
Well,
that's
here's a weird thing. I just pulled Darth Vader,
it's her dad.
so that'll be interesting to see. I'm sure that won't come into play at all. Let's find out. Okay. So, the competition that they will be engaged in is... which one's lamest?
Well,
Leia's pretty lame, and Darth Vader kicks a whole lot of ass.
I mean, I like Leia quite a bit, but Darth Vader is one of the most iconic film villains of all time, so I'm gonna go with Darth Vader. I can't even fight this one,
No.
man. Why is it I always lose? Okay,
Well, probably because you're a
fine.
loser, Adam.
All right, so I'm gonna go with Spider-Man. Spider-Man from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay. Let's see. I got Fox McCloud from Star
Nice.
Fox. Okay,
Star Fox.
so let's see what we got here. Oh, okay, this is a good one. Most overrated,
Spider-Man versus
Fox
Star.
McCloud.
Ooh, that's actually a difficult one because on the one hand, Spider-Man is one of the most popular superheroes ever, right? He's like top 3. It's
For
like
sure, for sure. But
Batman, Superman, Spider-Man.
Batman is overrated. Spider-Man, I feel, is
Yes.
comfortably nestled in the bosom of adequately
Yeah,
lives up to the hype.
I kind of agree. And okay, let's be real. Fox McCloud is
Oh,
overrated.
dude, totally. The Star Fox games in general, everyone's just like, oh my
Are
god, Star Fox
so
64 was the greatest game possibly of all time. And it's just like, yeah,
no,
dude,
it
it
wasn't.
was fine.
Yeah, it was a good game. It wasn't the greatest thing that's mankind has ever delivered to anything ever. And like
Also,
people are
Fox is not a
so
character. Fox is a talking head in a box in the corner of the screen.
and another thing is I feel like people overrate like Star Fox like the series in general. Like you've had basically one good game.
Well,
And
two if you like the first the SNES one.
I guess, but I never even played that one. So okay, so you got the
They
first one
also had
which is
Star Fox
probably
Adventures.
Stare Fox temperatures.
Exactly.
God damn it. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
that one's pretty cut and dry. I think Star Fox is by far
Star
more
Fox is
overrated
so
than.
overrated. So
Okay,
overrated.
well we're at sudden death now, Adam. It's game point here. So why don't you go ahead and pick somebody else for me while I thumb through the bag?
So I won one and you won one,
Correct.
right? Yeah, okay, just checking.
Oh, that's ironic.
I'm gonna go with the Vision. Because Paul Bettany, Vision.
Okay, well I just pulled Samus.
Cool, they're both red and kind of robot looking.
Okay, earn that paycheck, Adam.
I wish I had a paycheck. God damn it.
Okay.
Continue.
So, the contest is a pie eating contest.
A pie eating contest between Samus and Vision.
Yes.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. Um, does Vision eat?
See, that's the thing.
No,
as far as I know,
No,
Vision
wait.
does not require food.
Damn
That
it!
doesn't
No,
mean
he
that
doesn't.
doesn't mean that he can't eat, I suppose.
But no, but think about it. In Civil War, there's the point where he's making food for Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, like I wouldn't know what it tastes like.
Ah,
But
okay. However, tasting is not a valuable skill in pie eating. It's about scarfing.
I guess.
Which,
But I feel
despite
like
her
you can't
bootylicious booty, Samus is just a person. Granted with bird DNA, but still a person.
But she's also a really big person, so she could
She's
presumably
tall, but she's got a
Yeah.
waistline like a pencil. You're not
That's
fitting any
true.
pies in there, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
On the other
okay.
hand,
Okay.
Vision is a robot, who I'm just assuming is probably hollow in there. And he's
And
not
another
gonna,
thing is he can control his density, so
True.
he can.
But having
fuck with
pies
that
fall
shit.
out the back probably doesn't count as eating them, you know?
Yeah, I suppose.
But I'm just saying, like,
Uh.
he can't, like, I imagine he's not gonna get, like, you know, stuffed. Like, he could be literally stuffed with pie, but he's not gonna get full, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas Samus, being a person, granted being a very big, tall person, does not have a whole lot of room to stash pies in. I don't think she's gonna pull on that one.
So what you're saying is Vision could store more pies inside
than
his
Samus
body
could eat. Yes.
than Samus could eat.
And that's basically
Now-
the contest.
Well, actually, God, I want to fight because I want myself to win, but I have to be fair at the same time. The contest specifically says pie eating contest.
Okay, well then how do you
not
define
pie-
eating? Putting in your mouth and
Well,
chewing, right?
I guess, yeah.
If digestion is a part of eating, then Vision literally can't win.
Yeah, I guess eating is just putting it in your mouth and swallowing. And if Vision, assuming Vision is capable of that, we don't know that. But if he doesn't get hungry, and he also probably doesn't get full, like you said, so he could eat quite a bit, theoretically speaking.
Theoretically, yes.
And then phase it all out because it's just like, oh, that's a bunch of trash.
Exactly. Just, cleansed. Whereas Samus is going to have a really difficult shit pushing out all of that pie she ate. So, Like,
All
that's
right.
no contest,
Vision
man.
wins.
Vision wins.
Vision fucking wins.
So congratulations, Adam
Yes.
wins this round.
I honestly think that if fucking what's her face, if Samus was bigger, like if she wasn't like fucking rail thin, she could totally win this. If she was a normal person, I feel like she could actually theoretically win.
I don't think a normal person can eat that many pies, Adam. I mean, I'm betting Samus has a pretty powerful metabolism, but you still can't burn it off as quickly as you put it in your mouth in a contest like that. There's just no physical way. Like, she'd have to have a furnace in her stomach to be able to burn it off as quickly as she's putting it in.
Yeah.
Doing all those rolls and shit, you know?
All I'm hearing right now is I win,
Yeah.
and that means I am the winner of the week.
Yes, that's what it means. All right, bow down to Adam and his pie-eating robot.
Yes. All right.
Sorry, pie-eating android.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for ruining our outro, Steve. Jeez. Those are the complaints this week. If you can't complain, share it with your friends. Bye!